Hey, it's Molly. Thank you for joining me here on my YouTube channel, where I wanted to do a video for you discussing what it means when you were born during a retrograde energy cycle, meaning one of your personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, was in retrograde at the time of your birth, and how that energy may feel for you, how you can work with it, and how to understand it even more. Because there are always potentials that you can work with for any energy in your astrological chart. And in fact, it's really understanding more of the specifics in your chart that gives you insights into what you're ready to move through and experience in this lifetime. So specifically, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, these are three personal planets, and they are retrograde at various time intervals. And so Mars is retrograde every 2 years or so. Venus is retrograde every 18 months. And then we know how frequently Mercury goes into retrograde, which can be 3 or 4 times a year. So if you were born during one of these retrograde cycles, then that is an energy that you are embodying in this lifetime. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, when a planet is retrograde, it means that the energies are more comfortable being internalized. So what you want to develop very intentionally is a way to work with these energies that also honors your own needs. So for example, if you were born during a Mercury retrograde, then you may need more time to review, reconsider, reprioritize, go over things before you make a decision, before you speak or communicate, before you write something out. And there could be a need for you to just simply take more time. And that's because that Mercury retrograde needs that internal process. Same with the Venus retrograde, where there's things you're learning here around the Venus energies that you're internalizing. You're getting to the heart of something first before you express it or share it. That Venus retrograde is helping you understand your heart, your needs, and what you need to receive. So again, you could need more time to sit with something. This could be important before you make a financial decision, when you're looking at your own relationship patterns, when you're learning something about these Venus energies in your life. You could need more time to internally understand it before the energy feels comfortable for you to be expressed. And then we take the same theme here and apply it to Mars. Mars applies to your physical self, your body, how you assert yourself, your desires, how you take action, your ability to develop confidence. Mars is going to need more internalized time as well before taking action, where again, you might need to sit with something. You might need to review it, really understand how you're going to take action before you do so. So these retrograde planets, they do require a process that I think of as 1-2, meaning step 1, step 2, where at first you're understanding maybe what you want, but the energy feels more comfortable being internalized first. Whereas somebody with all direct planets is just going to say what they think. They're just going to express themselves. They're going to put it out there. It's going to be perhaps more fluid for them to have that energy being externalized first. But the retrograde planets often require an internal process, something that you're, again, sitting with, reviewing, reprioritizing, reconsidering. And then after you've had that amount of time, whatever feels comfortable for you, and this will depend on whatever type of astrological sign the planet is in, then you're going to be ready to share, express, or put something out there. So you're just going to basically require more time to internally review something. And when you know this about yourself, you can adjust your expectations of yourself. You can adjust your timeline. You can work with this energy more consciously and more intentionally, not put pressure on yourself to decide or do something in the moment. In fact, you could look back on your life and understand, wow, I needed more time to understand what was going on. Now, something else that can happen with these retrograde planets is that you could have certain life experiences, patterns on repeat, which is of course an RE word. So Venus retrograde means you could have a repeat of relationship experiences or relationship lessons. There could be things you're here to really review and understand in this lifetime at a much deeper level. Sometimes those retrograde planets also show you the karma or the energies you're completing in this lifetime that were not completed in previous lifetimes. And so that's where you can have that repeat or that review, and then it gives you an understanding of what the energy was, what the experience was, and how to change it for yourself, how to do it differently, how to understand a lesson. So those retrograde personal planets are very important, and that's because of how these personal planets are energies we use on a daily basis. So they're more pronounced than, say, a retrograde Jupiter or a retrograde Neptune. The personal planets being in retrograde correlate to a soul's lesson in these energies. Again, the reviewing, the repeating, so that you can really get something clear for yourself, perhaps do something new finally, but it's only after you've been through those lessons or you've repeated a pattern that perhaps you see it. So keep that in mind, that these retrograde personal planets can have a part of your life on repeat until you master something. And so with that Mercury retrograde in your natal chart, maybe there's things you're learning to communicate that were harder for you to express in a previous lifetime. Maybe that Venus retrograde brings up past relationship themes and dynamics you've experienced. You're in perhaps more karmic lessons or energies with relationships, with money, with understanding your own worth. And that could signify a very big soul lesson for you in this lifetime. And then that Mars retrograde can return you to your body, your confidence, your ability to assert yourself, to develop a healthy ego, to go for what you want. It can also bring up those karmic lessons around masculine energies, around men or others who have those strong Mars energies, and you're learning through them. So those personal planets in retrograde are going to feel more personal, and they're really highlighting for you more of your own soul's growth and understanding in this lifetime around certain themes. So then I wanted to show you a demonstration here of what it means when one of these planets, Mercury, Venus, or Mars, is in retrograde throughout a year. And so as we know, Mercury goes retrograde 3 or 4 times a year. Venus every 18 months or so, where she stays in one astrological sign for about 4 months. And then Mars every 2 years, where he stays in an astrological sign for about 5 or 6 months. So when the transiting planets are in retrograde, they work with you differently. And the best example I thought of to show you this would be, think of a train or a vehicle that you're sitting in. You know, I went up to my son's bedroom to find this toy. And you know I'm going to be in trouble for taking apart his Legos, but I'm willing to do that for this demonstration. Okay, so say that you, let's see, it's going to be, okay, so you are right here with your retrograde planet, and everyone else who maybe has that planet direct is here, all right? So when Mercury, Venus, and Mars are direct, for you, you have a natal planet that's retrograde, it can feel like you're facing backwards in the vehicle, in the train, whatever you want to use. And for everybody else, they're like, this is normal, this is normal. But you are used to or more comfortable with a retrograde energy. So as the planets are going direct, you're facing backwards. Then when we have that perception of Mercury, Venus, or Mars in retrograde, and the planet changes and they're going the opposite direction, for you, it feels like now you're facing forward. Now it's moving in a direction that you're comfortable with because you don't have motion sickness when the planet is retrograde. You're able to work with the energy because it relates to how you are used to feeling and experiencing the energy. So keep in mind that this is going to be different for everybody, but if you have a natal retrograde planet, when it's in retrograde, when that transiting planet is in retrograde, it could feel really normal for you and you could be really productive. You can get a lot done because, right, the vehicle is finally facing forward for you and you're like, I can move through things, I'm getting caught up, things are coming together, I understand this energy because you've been working with it your whole life. So this is where you want to make the most of any of those planets that are in retrograde in your natal chart. And yes, I've been talking specifically about Mercury, Venus, and Mars. When the other outer planets are in retrograde, they aren't as personal per se because they're more about the collective. They're about collective energetic experiences. That's why the personal planets make more of an impact because they're more about your personal energy field, similar like your personal aura. So if you can think of it as, well, I'm normally facing backwards in the car or in the train, and I'm used to it now. And you've had to adapt. You've had to figure it out what this means, where sometimes when you're facing backwards, it can feel like things are moving too fast for you. And that could be the case with these personal planets in retrograde. You could feel like, oh, it's moving too fast. I need more time. I need things to slow down. I need to internalize it. I need to sit with it. I need to think about it, and then I'll be ready to go. And that's what you just want to be aware of for yourself, again, about your own expectations and how you run energy. But then when that transiting planet is in retrograde, then you feel like you're facing forward and you're like, oh, this is comfortable. This is easier for me, and this works with how I am. So you want to make the most of those time periods. So these are all energies that we can work with, master, and understand. These are all energies that we have intentionally chosen at a soul level. And when you understand it from that perspective, it can feel a lot more empowering. And you can understand, okay, there's things here that in this lifetime I am reviewing. I am reviewing my Mercury, Venus, or Mars energies very intentionally. Again, repeating some patterns, maybe understanding some things at a much higher level. But basically, how can I grow with this? How can I apply it and use it in an everyday way that fits my needs and who I am? And how can this help me be more conscious of myself? So I hope that gives you some insights into how these retrograde energies may be showing up for you, how you might be experiencing them, as well as how to make the most of them, especially when a transiting planet is in retrograde. So I'll be back here with another video for you every Friday. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your comments, your likes, your subscribes, and of course, thank you for sharing these videos with anyone else who could also benefit from this knowledge. I'll see you back here really soon.